From his side, we are the county that knows how to produce presidents for 24 years. So you can already see where the country is getting to politically. My question to you is that effective leadership at IEBC is not merely about technical competence. Effective leadership at IEBC needs selfless service based solely on public interest. The question, triple E, because you are Erastus Ethekon. In your previous positions in your professional life, is there an instance that you are faced with a situation in which you had to choose between a decision that it's either based on popularity, that is hard to make due to undue pressure, or that you had, despite all the circumstances surrounding you, stand by the Constitution and the law. If it exists, which one was it? And which approach did you use to arrive at the outcome?
Thank you, Professor, for that question. I think throughout my professional career, I have tried as much as possible to, I would rather frame it this way. I've been largely lucky not to have been put in those uncomfortable situations where you choose between breaking the law or upholding your own selfish personal interest. Because I worked with the Commission, again, the standards there, the ethical integrity standards were very, very high. United Nations is a highly regulated entity where you are required to declare any other personal interests, and the systems and structures are systems of accountability and decision making. But when I ventured to back home to give back to my people in Turkana, when I saw an opportunity, but also the challenges they were going through in terms of grappling with legal issues, I went to serve as the first county attorney for Turkana, and I supported them to set up the office of the county attorney, where I served for 6 years. It is in that environment of public service that sometimes you are faced with some of these uncomfortable situations and scenarios where you have to choose either fidelity to the law, or you bend the law, or you break the law for the benefit of certain things. And I must tell you, throughout my 6 years, without getting into specifics, there are some incidences where a procurement takes place, and then when it comes to my attention for the legal opinion or legal advice, and then you get this pressure coming from some of those officials saying, we want this to go this way, we want this to go that way. For me, as the county attorney that time, and even now in future when I assume a public office, I have always maintained that fidelity to the law. There are those instances where I have had to say as it is. And the way I managed to circumvent that, how to beat that kind of group, was to do my advisory in writing and to say, this is against the law, take it or leave it. And in that case, then people started getting used to it. So that therefore then by the time they come, they bring an issue to my attention, they know I will stick with the law. But then the downside of it, sometimes some of these guys go underground, so they do their own things there, and they don't bring to your attention. So that by the time the CPA, Tanwis group comes, the auditor, they check their books. That's when some things come out of the closet. Then you realize, but what happened? This should have been brought to my attention. And this situation could not have arisen had you brought it to my attention and followed my legal advice. So for me, the respect for the rule of law, the respect for the Constitution, the processes, the Public Finance Management Act, the procurement law, the public officer ethics, those are not things you can compromise with. So when it comes to that, it actually helps you. It's not even a dilemma, Professor. Because when the law is very clear, what dilemma do you have? You just follow the law and you'll be on the right side. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Do you have some two short questions, kindly?
Yes, Bwana Ethekon, you were quite elaborate when my colleague Caroline Kituku asked you about the diaspora vote. Could you name 3 countries in Africa and any 2 outside of Africa where diaspora voting took place in their last general elections?
Thank you, Prof. For this progressive realization of the Article 38 rights, I think, as I mentioned earlier, the Commission has done some work, and we have 12 countries. And within Africa, South Africa, where I've just returned from, I think I got that information from where the Consular General there was voting, diaspora voting in South Africa. Tanzania, our neighbor here. I think Rwanda. Surprisingly, if I may add, I hope you are not limiting me to the 3. Even our Southern Sudan, with all the challenges they are going through in terms of the conflict situation. Outside our continent, we have Canada, United States, and we have not left the European continent behind either. Germany is one of those countries where our diaspora brothers and sisters participated in the vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You did say that you come from the north, you come from a marginalized community. Can you tell us one of the solutions that the 2010 Constitution came up with, and whether, at least economically, and how it has been implemented so far?
Thank you, Prof. Just to give you a bit of a background, when we were growing up and I was little, my uncle resided in Eldoret. My mother used to come, being a single mother, she used to come to see my uncle, her brother. And when we traveled from Turkana, in those days we were using the lorries. Sometimes you are hitchhiking on this transit goods going to Southern Sudan, and it will bring you to Kitale. Then from there, that's when you see matatus, and you see buses, you see nice shops and stuff like that. So it used to be a popular stereotype, or maybe I can just say it's jokes, whenever Turkanas arrive in Kitale, the Matatu people at the stage, they'll be joking with them, calling them, Lokone, you know Turkana, you're coming, where are you going? Hello, Alosi. They will say, the Turkanas will be like, Alosi, Kenya. Like, we are going to Kenya. So we have come from Turkana, we are going to Kenya. So later on, when I became a bit mature and understood the geography of Kenya, I realized actually Turkana is in Kenya geographically. But even then, having confirmed that we are there geographically, but when you look at the conditions in Turkana, the poverty, schools, I mean, from class 1 to 4, I was learning under acacia tree. This is not a joke. And the beauty part of it is when the wind blows and the weather changes, then you have an opportunity to run home because, you know, when you're young, you don't like school that much. But see, we grew up under those difficult circumstances. And so the Catholic Church was actually our kind of de facto government because it's the one that was providing us with basic services, education, health, relief food. So, but something significant happened in 2010, and the new constitution ushered in devolution, decentralization of government. And with decentralization of government, power, resources, I think for us, sometimes we tend to joke among ourselves and say, you know, this is Turkana's independence hour. This is our independence time. This is the time now we're beginning to see what freedom is. Freedom from, you know, the basic needs. Freedom from hunger. The right to expanding access to basic education. So with devolution and the first phase, we've had tremendous progress in Turkana. Even if you don't talk about tangible projects, for example, just the sheer number of Turkanas who are employed alone and accessing a salary and are able to support their extended families, so that even during droughts, they are able to cushion them. That alone is very significant. But with the county government, where I served for 6 years, both under the first governor and the second governor, we've put in place structures, the county integrated development plan.
Thanks for all that. Because of time.
Yes.
Constitutionally, what's the prescription that the Constitution put in place for marginalized community, not just Turkana, all marginalized communities in Kenya, and how has it been implemented so far?
Of course, in terms of, I was just giving a specific example for how devolution, of course, that decentralization of the government and resources has made improvements in those marginalized areas. And for me, I think that's the most actually significant. But there are also certain rights in the Bill of Rights that recognize the rights of these minorities and marginalized groups. And that's why, for example, then, the rights to political participation. We also have affirmative action. For example, the revenue sharing formula takes into account that aspect of marginalization in the allocation of resources. So the revenue sharing formula, but there's also the affirmative action fund, which is meant to bring those marginalized areas to some level.
What's the name of that affirmative action fund? It's okay.
I cannot remember the exact wording, but I know there's the affirmative action fund. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ethekon. We have enjoyed this time with you. We appreciate the robust engagement, and we've even overshot our time. Thank you for allowing us that privilege. We asked for memoranda to be given to us about you. We didn't get any from Turkana, and we haven't gotten any from any other part of the country. And so we will let you go.
Thank you.
And maybe invite you when we receive something like that. Do you have any question for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think not really a question, but to sincerely thank the panel for giving me an opportunity to have this kind of interactive dialogue with you. But more importantly, to give me a chance, to stand a chance to serve this country and to make it a better place for us and the future generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Every dream is valid, and we wish you very well. Please remember to pick your documents, and there's a bottle of water there. You didn't use it. You might find it helpful after this. Blessings to you, and wish you success. Thank you. Okay, asanteni.